Alrighty.
Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I'm your host, Marianne Petrie. Bradley's mother narky stolen passed away 3 months ago. Bradley is autistic and needs structured routine and therapies he receives for his autism 6 days a week. However, Italy just entrusted Bradley to the Italian Social Services. If he is ruled to go back, he will face the next 3 to 4 years in the Italian foster care system where he can't speak or understand the language. He will be taken away from the only family he has ever known. Please call Governor Hochul at 518-474-8390. That's Governor Hochul at 518-474-8390. Please voice your concerns to keep Bradley here safe in these United States. Hashtag keep Bradley safe. I have a return guest with me. Her name is Marineka Bowman. She was last on my podcast, season 3, episodes 104, 131, 159, 160, 174, and 184, as well as season 4, episode 22 and episode 48. So I welcome you back. The last time we talked, as you spoke out on the continuing harassment by Wilmington, Delaware family court judge Natalie Haskins and her cohorts. So we're doing an update, and how far are you now into your case?
Well, I don't think we are nowhere. We're just going around in circles, keep going around in circles.
Mhm.
Because of the last podcast we did, I did mention that the issue that they were gearing towards why they took my child from me is because they were concerned for mental health issues, and they were trying to get the DFS supervisor who was later joined my case after a whole 7 months. They was trying to get that supervisor to write a mental health evaluation, and she's not a doctor. Nevertheless, I recently got a letter from DFS. They finally cleared me from the abuse, psychological and so I have the letter that DFS sent me like a week ago, dated March 10, 2023. It said the purpose of this letter is to provide you with the outcome of our recent investigation of report of child abuse and neglecting involving your family. We have completed our investigation and determined that Child Protection Registry substantiation proceedings are not warranted regarding the following alleged incident case against my daughter. I'm not going to mention her name. On or about 7/19/2022, was physically and emotionally abused through excess use of discipline and verbal accusation, causing emotional harm. The Division of Family Service does have some concerns. One, parents' inability to effectively co-parent. 2, parents disintegrate from therapy session with child. 3, lack of participation in court-ordered supervised visit. Because the Division of Service does not intend to substantiate an incident of child abuse or neglect, your child will not be entered into Child Protection Registry, formerly known as Child Abuse Registry. You need to be advised that you meet the federal requirements and the stuff that maintain this information in internal information system, etc., etc. You remember the last podcast that like I mentioned, they were trying to get the same supervisor that wrote this letter to do the mental health evaluation, which now she's just doing her place, right? So this investigation, they mentioned July 19, this investigation started. The investigation started June 11th, 2022, not July 19, 2022. So that date is definitely wrong. So now you're saying physical and emotional abuse through excess. Okay, they have concerns. Nothing in this letter stated anything about mental health concerns, right? Which they were mentioning. So every time they listen to the podcast, apparently, and I address something that they're doing wrong, they're going to try to fix it and come back, right? So nothing is mentioned in this letter about mental health evaluation or mental concerns. Parents' ineffective ability to co-parent. Like I mentioned in previous podcasts, his attorney, Laura Brooks, was an issue.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to cooperate with anything. She objected to everything.
Yes.
In the mediation, she have a problem. So how are you going to say parents' inability to effectively co-parent when you have an attorney who was a big issue in this case, who is a big issue, not even an attorney, all of them involved in this case, including the DFS people. But that's to show you how corrupt they are. Then they said, parents disintegrating from therapy session with child. So a therapist called me and tell me she have a court order for me to do therapy with my daughter because I cannot bond with my child. What grounds, what information? She never had no interaction with me or my child. She didn't know us prior to this case. So how come, where did you gather your information from? Where did you gather your data from to come to this conclusion that I need therapy to bond with my child?
I think you already bonded with her. You've already you've raised her for how many years? I think you've already bonded with her.
From 2 months. From 2 months, he walked out and left us. So who was bonding with her all the time?
Right.
Even when we went to divorce, right? The judge asked, the father was off. I think they used to work a 12-hour shift, 4 days on, 4 days off. And he asked for 1 day every Thursday for 2 hours until he started, like when she reached 2 and 3, he asked for a weekend, like somebody was stopping him. Nobody stopped you. You went to court and asked. So all of this judge, you declined. It's not like we have a tick record, like an encyclopedia that you could not flip back in your notes to familiarize your case with what order you pass. He asked for 2 hours. And even to that, he was not consistent. And when I mentioned that in court, she was like, okay, well, now he wants to be a father. So what? That's not a point. That's beyond the point. He left this child when she was 2 months. You come back when she was, what, almost 3 years? That should count for something. So they said lack of participation in court order. Some nerves. He have not, for last year, both him and his attorney, and mainly his attorney, who's the one, and I have email proof. She was emailing attorneys that I had in the past. Oh, well, let your client know that on this day, she would not be having her summer vacation, or she would not have Mother's Day. The child would be with the father. Oop-de-doo. Mother's Day is court order. The summer vacation, we had to work it out. But you was a very big, Laura Brooks was a very big, intricate part of disrupting my child spending summer with me, Mother's Day, right? All of which is court order. So what you talking about lack of court order? Why are you sending this nonsense to me? Right? But you see in this letter, nothing stated about mental health issue. Right? Because in the last podcast, I said, you're not a doctor. She's not a doctor. So now you drop that. Now you come with this. You see, they're all around the place because they're trying to justify why they take my child from me. But now you're sending this letter to me. You give me supervised visit because you said that I was mentally and physically abusing my child. So now I'm cleared from this, but you already took her from me. So it's like you put in the cart before the horse, like we would say, right? What you were supposed to do first, you do last. You took her, now you clear me from this after a whole year. Right? But you see that all the foolishness that they're doing, they're not thinking how they're affecting this child.
Right.
But they don't care because she don't have no blood relations to none of them. She's not their grandchildren. She's not their children. She's nothing. So you don't care. You don't care. You could imagine the psychological stuff that is going through my child's head right now. She probably feeling unwanted, rejected, or herself like her mommy don't want her in her life. So much it just can't begin to imagine. But just because you want to be corrupt cabals that join in hands to destroy people's family.
Oh, exactly.
Right? For your own gain and not thinking of how you're affecting this child. So another thing that I talk about on the last podcast is our parents. Her hair not being combed for almost 3 months. So I was watching her picture on the Tadpole app. And I talk about that, the Tadpole app that they have with the daycare. So the last picture I saw they braid her hair and then they take me completely off of the Tadpole app. So they blocked me because I talk about her appearance. I have a right to talk about our parents, because when you're taking a child from a home, from a parent, from a situation, you have to be putting a child in a situation 10 times better than what you think that you're taking them from or they're in. You're not taking them from a assume or alleged situation and putting them into harm's way or a situation that is not even half or quarter of what you're taking them out of. It has to be better.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be better. It's like someone brought to my attention with their custody case that they had in North Carolina. So the both couples was living in North Carolina, and one of the parents, but after the divorce, they wanted to move to, I guess, New York or wherever. The judge in North Carolina told the parent that wanted to move, it's okay, I will grant you whatever, but I want you to prove that whatever situation that you're taking that child to is better than what we have here in North Carolina. I feel that stuff like that should set up everywhere. It should be borderline all over the place for every state, not for just North Carolina, not for just New York, not for just Maryland or wherever. There should be everywhere. When you're taking a child out of a situation, have to be 10 times better, not 10 times worse.
Right.
And because I am talking about it, you blocking me? You can't block my DNA. And I'm going to tell them that you can't block my DNA. You cannot block my DNA. And one thing, she's not getting younger, she's getting older. She's getting older. And she's going to know the truth. And I'm glad I'm doing this podcast, because she's going to be able to go back and look at them. She's going to know. And my child is not stupid. She's not stupid. She's not stupid.
And they're the ones alienating you from your child.
Exactly. Now you clear me with DFS. Why DFS words don't count? That's the first thing you should have done. They should never take DFS one whole year to clear me from an investigation before you take my child. But you take my child because Laura Brooks said that I have a mental problem. But Laura Brooks is an attorney. She's not a doctor. Because Patricia Weird, the gal, say that I have a problem. What about all the evidence that they ignore? Forget this right now. Let's declare me of that. Here we go again. I have a whole lot of pictures, almost a year or 2 years worth of pictures of abusive marks on my child's skin, on her body, throughout her body. Nobody's addressing that. Nobody's addressing that. So now you clear me. So who is asking the question? Who gave her those marks? You have a letter that you clear me. So now all the stuff that is on my Wizard app, the evidence that is on my Wizard app, why was it, or is it being ignored continuously? So now you still have that child there, and you're not asking the question, well, okay, you cleared the mom, you keep clearing me over and over, but nobody is questioning who giving this child all these black and blue marks or whatever. Mosquito don't give people black and blue marks.
Oh, then, these judges order you to get the My Wizard app so they can watch what's going on, but yet they don't.
Exactly. Natalie Haskins order that you follow that stuff. She did. She was the one who ordered that My Wizard app. And that stuff is what, 140 a year or whatever they charge you, right? So what's the point you ordering parents to join this app that is not free and nobody's monitoring it? You pick and choose what you want to get from it. What about all the pictures? Pictures is up there. When they shave her hair off, or eyebrows, the burn marks, the black and blue marks, all of that is on the My Wizard app.
Yeah.
But yet you want to give me supervised visit for an hour when my child was living with me from 2 months, from birth until all this chaos started in our life, right? Because you want to side with the father.
I wonder who's getting paid off here.
That's a good question. Who is getting paid here? Who is paying who? What is the benefit in it for them? And the thing that is not only you taking a child from one situation to the next. You have to make sure that situation again is better than, again, I'm going to repeat, better than what you're taking her out of. Now she have a brother. You put her with her brother. Is she getting along with other siblings? Is other siblings, what is the relationship like? What is that sibling? Her brother, he's a trouble kid. And I mentioned this in court. He's a trouble kid. From a very tender age, he was kicked out of 13 or 12 schools out of Delaware, from elementary all the way up.
Ooh.
He had trouble all through school. He's troubled. My daughter complained about him all the time, of hitting, kicking, slapping.
Mm-hmm.
He used to fight the teachers all the time. Mind you, you have the father, the same father that you think that he's better than me. So you take him, the father fought his mom. They fight each other the same way that you fighting me. What happened? What become of that child? What become of her brother?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same situation you setting up for my daughter. God forbid, I hope she don't disrespect the teachers in school. Mm-hmm. I used to work as a behavioral interventionist in school, and I would not want her to disrespect none of those teachers. None of them. Mm-hmm. None of them. They're already dealing with a lot. Mm-hmm. Some of them, the class is dealing with the number of children in the class. Then you have to deal with this child keep acting up every 2 minutes, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. Or some issue going on. Mm-hmm. I don't want her to do that. But like it's just heartrending. Everything you ignore. Oh, it's not true. Then I look back at the brother record. He is a trouble kid.
Yeah.
Even at a young age, my daughter come showing me, teaching her how to lick. How to lick people's skin, how to lick people's legs, how to lick a lollipop. Something like this. She already know that at an early age. Mm-hmm. And all the cousins they know too.
Oh. And
all of them know. But everything is being swept under the rug because I don't want to get him in trouble, but that child is my child.
Yes.
Oh, and if that's the case, you said that I have a problem, over there have a problem. She should never be with none of us. If that's how you want to take it.
Right.
She should not be over there. You know how many times my child complained of being hit by the brother? Mm-hmm. He has so much problems. I'm telling you, you can't ignore this. You can't take her from me and not look at this situation. He have problems. Mm-hmm. They had one maths teacher that I know that he had. Since the man see him, the man take out his cell phone to videotape. Because he didn't have no behavior. He's very disrespectful. And I know because of the fighting and the situation that my child he was put in the same mix, same type of situation. So that stuff affects children too. So I don't blame him 100% for his behavior or whatever. I know some of his behavior come from what my daughter is going through. Because his father and my daughter's father and his mom was fighting just the same way from a very young age, going back and forth. There's always something going on with them. And it's the same thing you carrying on with that you want to carry over. Yeah, you haven't learned. The father haven't learned. He haven't learned from his mistake. You get all this anger, animosity, and you think fighting and dragging people through court and doing all of this stuff make you look good. But look at your son. Mm-hmm. Now you're doing the same thing. You have a chance to start all over again, to do things differently. You're going down the same road. You alienate my child, not even a boy child, a girl child, from her mother. Mm. From her mother. Mm-hmm. And everything that I say, you ignore it. The judge should never ignore that the son is a problem. But you see, they all corrupt. DFS corrupt. Mm-hmm. The gal, the judge. And I'm glad I'm doing this because, like they have a saying in Guyana, when a dog's custom sucking egg, he's going to continue. When you have a certain behavior, a certain pattern, it's just a matter of time. So even if it's a year later from now, something happened in that home pertaining to what I say, regarding the brother, the father, whatever, I said it. Mm-hmm. It's mentioned on the podcast. Mm-hmm. So the judge is going to be responsible. DFS is going to be responsible. the counselor, all these people are going to be responsible. They're all going to be responsible. You can't take one side and ignore everything, because especially the abusive marks, it's on the My Wizard app.
Mm-hmm.
So what justice you doing? You take my child because inability, lack to participate in supervised visit. Why you give me the supervised visit? What is your grounds? What is your grounds for me to have counseling with my child? You don't know what type of relationship I had with my daughter. I didn't live with nobody. My daughter was just she and I most of the time before my mom came, maybe when she was two and a half. My mom come and live with us for a year. But other than that, was the two of us. So she had no other choice but to bond with me. We were bonding with each other. So how you could just come up and say, I don't know how to bond with my child because I'm not jumping and skipping to the nonsense you guys are doing and calling. For us was mental health. It always this, always that. You don't have no straight record of what to justify why you take my child. So now you're writing me this letter. What is the purpose of writing me that letter? Shouldn't matter. They should never send me that letter, because that's the reason you're claiming that my child was taken from me.
Mm-hmm.
But now you clear me of it, but you already take her and have me doing supervised visit. Why? Why DFS worrying about supervised visit? They have concern. You shouldn't concern about that. What they should be concerned about is the evidence that was sent to them also. Because some of the same evidence that is on My Wizard app was sent to them. Even one time, he pushed my daughter because she said, oh, I want to talk to mommy, or she was crying when we used to talk. I heard her crying. So I'm waiting for her to come on the phone. Oh, I'm going to hang up the phone. I said, okay, let me talk to her. So calm her down. No, he shut his phone off because you push her down. You push her back and she had a big split behind her head. When I showed the DFS working, oh, I'm closing my case now. So I'm not accepting no more pictures or anything like that. I'm not accepting anything. He went to court and the judge ordered him to keep his case open, right? Because she's a judge, keeping his case open when he's ready to close it. So all of these things, right? The evidence, how could you ignore evidence? My biggest thing, how could you ignore evidence and not thinking of how you're affecting this child? I'm not even so I was just going over some stuff. I'm not even so upset with the judge, but mainly the father. A father should make a difference in a child's life. A father is one who protects, who provides, who supports, who provides security, unconditional love, teach children accountability. But here you have a father just destroying a kid because he have backings of the court, the corrupt court, corrupt DFS, corrupt counselors. They're just corrupt.
Yes. And
even this letter don't make no sense, because anybody in their right mind would say, okay, you take this child, now you're sending this mother this letter, certified mail, saying that she's cleared from the physical, emotional abuse. So what grounds do you have to give her supervised visit? And you already take the child. You take the child before you conclude your investigation. The investigation should be concluded before you take the child. It shouldn't be the opposite way we're wrong. So now you want to justify and fix. There's no right way in fixing a wrong. There's no right way in fixing wrong. There's no right way in fixing a wrong. No right way.
It seems like they all do this. I notice a pattern, not just from talking to you, but other parents, and even in my case, the attorney always calls out that we're mentally ill. That's the first thing they shoot out. I don't know why they have to shoot their mouths off like that. And I don't know where they get off saying that when they're not even doctors. It's bad enough they got a law degree.
Because they get away with it.
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to get away with it. You know? They're allowed to get away with it.
Too often, everywhere.
Yes, and you know the reason why I'm speaking out even more, there have to be more concrete structure of why you're taking a child from a home. It's not that you're removing a child from a home and putting them in a lion's den, because that's exactly what you're doing to my child. You put her in the lion's den. Think about her education. Okay, she was with me. She was in swimming at a very young age. Is she in swimming now? I'm pretty sure not. Is she in dancing? My daughter liked all those stuff. She liked to dance. She liked to sing. She liked to paint. She's very artistic. Is she involved in anything? Is she involved in any sports? No. Even when I had her in soccer shots, the father didn't even want to send her a t-shirt because he didn't what? You think you're going to do something to my money? And she enjoyed the soccer shots. So what different situation did you put this child in?
They are so destroying her
Right?
self-esteem, her self-image,
self-worth.
right? Yes.
Yeah, right. Even the daycare. You know, I worked in a daycare when I first came to this country. That owner for that daycare, let me tell you, she did not play with the parents. Your child come to the daycare and the hair not combed, they're not properly groomed. She tell the parents. She tell them. So everything that learning, that little Einstein said, they don't get involved in custody, they don't get involved in this. But yes, they were supporting him with nonsense. They could never say that I was never bonding with my child at that daycare. But a lot of them lie. A lot of them lie. There's nothing that my child was doing at that daycare I didn't participate in. Nothing. There's time that I go there and I sit, help them clean up, do whatever I need to do. When she have her birthdays, I go all out. And I didn't do it for her. I do it for the teachers. You know, make sure everybody's included.
Right.
Whatever activities they have going on at the school, I always make sure I go out my way and make sure she's part of it. They had picture days that he didn't pay for. That, you know, she looking forward to take pictures with her class. He didn't pay for that stuff. You don't want to spend money for anything. How you think this child feel? Right? So now you have all these women, the judges and everybody. Now you're going to say, oh, she's clear, but inability to effectively co-parent. Okay, I hope they do. How much people they marry? But that's still not a reason for take somebody's child, because inability to co-parent is still not no reason to take nobody's child. How much people then divorce and they struggle, yes, to co-parent, but was that enough reason for taking the children? No. Was that enough reason to separating the child and eliminate them? They're doing more elimination more than anything else, eliminating me from my child with all the thing they're doing. He don't allow me to talk to my daughter. The consulate set up phone time because the judge never ordered for us to have phone call. When we the last co-parenting, the therapist said that is crazy. She's a young child, even though she come every weekend to me. She should at least still talk to me 1 or 2 times out of that week when she don't come. So we set that up in co-parenting. He stopped all of that. And all he had to do is dial the number, give my daughter the phone, and she and I talk. So it was no need for him and I communicating. Right? There's one time I call him, he called me all type of names. Right? What is that for? In front of my child. All kind of bitches. In front of my child. And you stopped that phone call since May of last year, 2022. So since May of last year, you stopped all the phone calls. Now you want to write me to tell me about inability to participate, to co-parent, and not to bond with my child. That Council Christine Hines could, like, what are your grounds? What evidence? All they have is sheer hearsay. It's so behoove me how far this case has gone for 4 years, going on to 5 years, with just basically hearsay, no evidence, evidence being ignored, evidence being flipped around to suit the corruption, and this continue. But what he's getting away with now in the daycare, which she should have, all these strings he have and all this power that he has, she should have been in kindergarten. But his lawyer opened her mouth in court, lawyer books, Oh, you can keep her right to the daycare, right? In court, you can keep her in the daycare, right? So you could get child support money. You can keep her in the daycare. She's 5. She's gonna be 6 this year. The daycare learning little Einstein, they work. Yes, they try to do work, but they're not fully preparing the kids for school. You still have her tracing. You still have her dotting stuff. When she go into kindergarten, she's gonna have to write. I had her enroll in Learning Express at one point. Learning Express is a way better daycare because it's a daycare slash they have like a private school because from the kindergarten they have from kindergarten to 8th grade. And when at preschool level at that daycare, at Learning Express daycare, they give you a booklet of what your child's supposed to learn within that period. They are more advanced.
Right.
I think they're cheaper than that daycare. They focus a lot on the children education and academic achievement. Prepare the children, because even though and I think they do that too because they have one side is a family owned business. So the part where they have the kindergarten to 8th grade. So in case the parents want to, they work in case the parents want to keep the children there or they want to go. Either way, the parent choose to go. Your child will be prepared. They would have that solid foundation.
Where does
Little Einstein is not providing that for her, but you keep her there because the attorney say that. The attorney's not paying the fee, but because they know they cook up.
The attorney doesn't care about your own child, whether she progresses in life or not. That's pretty scary. That's so scary.
But yet she encouraged him to do all this nonsense and said it out loud.
Shame on you, Laura Brooks.
I showed her kids is in soccer shots. I showed her in baseball. I showed her in dancing. I showed her in swimming. I am pretty sure her kids are involved in all that stuff. But all this money he's paying her, what are your kids involved in? Nothing. Even when you look at his brother, yes, I know the brother had medical, but certain things. But he's what, 17 now? Never involved in anything. You never push him to anything. You're doing the same pattern. That's what I want from my kid.
Maybe Laura Brooks should maybe have one of her kids sleep over your ex's house and live a week there and see what condition her kid comes back in.
The judge too. The judge too. All of them.
Yeah.
Because all of this that they do, I'm pretty sure they're not checking on her every day. They're not making sure that, is she okay? She could never be okay. My child born with me from birth. You can't erase what he have built that easily. So you could imagine what's going through her mind.
And who knows what he's been telling her.
Exactly.
Or even the attorney telling her. I mean, because I know my kids, the father's attorney was talking to them. In fact, where my son had said that he hated his father's big, fat, ugly attorney. So there must have been some verbal conversations. And why would the attorney even be talking to your kids? That's just disgusting.
It's just like they have no decorum about them. They have this compassion. They're just heartless. They're just ruthless. I really don't care about what the lies that they have told of. I'm beyond that. But my main focus right now is what you're doing to this child. I don't care about all the lies. I don't care what you feel about me or what you think about me or whatever class or category they want to put me in, or whatever you want to whatever parent you want to label me as. I know who I am. I am confident and sure of myself, of what type of parent I am. So I don't need no judge to tell me what type of parent I am. I don't need DFS to tell me what type of parent or what type of relationship I have and don't have with my child. I don't need to go to no counsel to sit down. My culture speaks a lot for itself. My culture speaks a lot for itself. We are very family-oriented people.
Mm.
Family come first in my culture. Family is big in my culture. And I'm pretty sure most of the West Indies, family is big in our culture. How much percentage of West Indian family or people from South America that they still walk away and leave their kids? I'm pretty sure it's a minute amount, but because of the system.
Mm-hmm.
You won't find it, no, because let me tell you something, because our family structure, if the mother messing up, they're gonna have an auntie gonna pick up the slack, or a grandmother, somebody, because they don't want their grandkids to go through the system, or somebody's gonna pick up to save that child. 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Family is big in my culture. My grandmother always said something. Only dogs give away their puppy. People don't. Only dogs give away their puppy. People do not. You have to get some type of solid structure in place while you're taking children. I work in a prison, and you know, and I thought about that yesterday. There's so many Blacks in prison, young kids. And when I watch at their background, they said a lot of these kids have behavior, they have this, they're broken home. But the system, just how they're breaking my child, what you're preparing them to do. You break these children, you break these families, and prepare these children for jail. The way when you read some of their backgrounds, the way how they separate these children, they put these children in so much more trauma than what they're coming from, where they're coming from. Then where they end up, fall into the system, and where else they go? Straight to jail.
Yeah.
Majority male affected. High percentage of Black males, young males in Delaware prison. And I'm not speaking because of outsider. I work there. Broken homes, system, separate them. You listen to some of these kids tell the story. Like, my God. It's one point I used to listen to some of the story and said, I don't want no kids in this country. Not me. My child came. And unfortunately, something that I thought would never happen to me, especially with this system being so corrupt. It's just a tragedy. So you block me from the daycare tadpole. You're blocking me from this. I can't see her. I can't speak to her. So who doing the alienation?
Okay, so the father blocked you from seeing.
It have to be, because it's not like I can talk to her, right? Because the daycare have a tadpole app where you could see like what little activities she's doing, or whatever, see her little picture or whatever for the day. So that is completely blocked, right? They completely block that. It is okay. They can block my DNA. She's still my child. She's still my child. I hope when she gets older, you have all the answers to the questions that she's going to be asking. And, you know, and even if people listening to this, especially parents, you have to teach your children, especially when it comes to marriage. Be careful who you're marrying. Be certain that that person is the right person. Be certain the family is right where you're going into. Be certain.
And even that can be tricky.
Anything, yes, be certain. Be certain. Take your time to know people. Take your time to know the family. Because when situations like this come up, you see people true colors. And was no need for him to fight, because I never stopped him from seeing my daughter. He could have visited, but he chose not to. I have all the calendars from 2017, 2018, from when he left up until 2022. Days when he called, when he didn't call, when he didn't show, when nothing. But yet you have full custody. and you block me completely out of our life. Like I was just brought in your life to be a surrogate mother. Surrogacy come with a price. Surrogacy come with a price. And I'm going to always keep talking about this because Delaware have to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just behoove me that none of the, I know they're listening because they're trying to make change and turn things around to justify what they're doing. But somebody, they have to bring changes. They don't have to bring change in my case. What is done is done. But I'm talking out that another parent, either man, woman, black, white, Mexican, whomever, do not go through this again.
Well,
you have to do things right, especially when it comes to young children.
Mm-hmm. One positive thing did happen on February 1st, 2023. The case law of Morgan versus Morgan came through. I will send this to you. I will send this to you, Marineka, in your email. Everyone can look it up. Morgan versus Morgan, New York State, 2023. And it's docket numbers F12983-08 V-4454-17 V-445517. And this is a matter of a parent keeping a child away from another parent. And when that was brought to light into this Morgan versus Morgan, they suspended that parent having to pay child support, because if he wasn't going to be able to see his child and he was being interfered with, custodial interference, and not being able to see his child, he won that case. And this is going to do a lot for a lot of parents, not only in New York State. Granted, that case is not federal yet, maybe, hopefully, but I think a lot of parents might be able to use this in their cases when there is custodial interference through coercive control.
Yeah, like what's going on in my case.
Mm-hmm.
Like exactly what is going on in my case. Even with it coming back, even with the child support, they have me pay $900 a month, right? I'm on disability. $900 a month for one child. And Laura Brooks asked for back child support. You asked him for back child support for what? This child was with me from birth up until when your client got, right? So why was I ordered to pay back child support? That back child support went to $12,000. And also, when they write in the order, which they lie, say that I agree. I think Delaware have something that a parent have to work at least the minimum of 40 hours per week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, but I agree. Why would I agree to that? When she was with me, I was only working 25 hours, but I was not ordered to pay child support. So why did you went there? Because Laura Brooks, when we was in court, she kept talking over that attorney that I had in the child support case. So I guess the commissioner didn't understand. Like, this child was living with me. I was not obligated to pay child support at the time. So it didn't matter that I was working 50 hours, 25 hours. I was not obligated. So why did you went back all the way there to charge me for 40 hours per week?
It's all for the Title 4D
incentives. For 40 hours a week. Huh?
Mm-hmm. All for the Title 4D incentives.
Right? You went all the way back there. So now it's right.
Oh, Marineka, I'm so sorry.
So all of this you did. All of this you did.
Mm-hmm.
So there should not be any back child support and all this stuff with, but Laura Brooks.
Right. Right.
You're playing evil. You want to put me in a position, I can't provide for my child. But you don't care about that child. You don't care about that child. Mm-hmm. But people have to be careful when you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wishing for anything happen to anybody, kid. But God work in a way sometimes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you might take my child from me, don't want me to see her and all of this stuff. But God might take yours from you, from all of them, the judge, all the lawyers and everyone that involved. You might be crying at the gravesite for your kid. Be careful what you do to people. Be careful. People need to be careful.
Yeah, even when those kids grow up, they could marry someone who alienates them from them.
From them.
Yeah, because you know what? The court is breeding all these personality disorders. You think
Exactly.
that isn't going to happen to your own kid?
So right. You're so right. It may not happen now. Like people waiting, like when certain things happen in life is going to happen immediately. No. Like you said, when they grow up, they might marry somebody who will alienate them from their parent. Her dad tried to start doing that with me. He didn't want me to talk to my family. He didn't want me to tell me that they have to get permission to come. No, they don't have to get permission. Your family don't have permission. Yeah. So things like that happen. But people don't think, your kids can be separated from you in death. Like you said, marriage, alienation. There's so much stuff can go on. But people feel because there are judges, there's lawyers, there's this. You're not going to protect your children with everything. You have, when they're ready to get married, you have no control over that. If they want to go off with somebody, you have no control over that. When they reach a certain age, you have no control. But people don't think. They think short term. They don't think long term. They don't look ahead. They just think for the moment. And in the moment, when they feel good when they're doing people something. But half of the stuff that they're doing to me, if it's been done to them, they weren't able to handle it. Some of them probably would be jumping off the Delaware Memorial Bridge, right? They would lose their mind. But it's all well and good. You're abusing your authority and your position. And then want to say what? Anybody know me? My child never turned a corner without me. I did everything because I want to give her a better life. And I still want her to be better, to do better. And I pray that she don't succumb to all of this stuff and start acting out in school. God is the last thing I want. I know it's not easy for those teachers, but you know what? He is going to be in a different position because now he's controlling the daycare stuff. She's going to be 6 this year.
And he's holding her back. That's educational neglect. Why is there someone looking at that?
No, that's it, because his attorney said you're going to keep her. Laura Brooks said you can keep her right to that daycare. That daycare is not doing enough work to keep her there. If the work was up to par, if learning Little Einstein on Possum Road in, North Delaware, work was up to par and satisfying, I would say yes, she is okay. She stayed there. But their work is not up to par. So
attorney Laura Brooks wants to keep your daughter there probably till she's 15, probably. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but this year she have to go to elementary school. So there's going to be a different ball game with them in elementary school, because what you're going to do, you can control the whole school. You can't control the whole school because now you have the social workers to deal with. You have the parents who coming into what they the parent board meeting, parent board going to be there. You have the school nurse. You have behavioral interventionists. You have all these different people now going to be looking. They're going to be looking. And I hope they all speak up, because I hope they don't stay as quiet as the people in the daycare, because they have an option. They could have called unanimously when my daughter went to school with black and blue marks, when they see marks. Even look, during this winter time, she went to school dressing like if it's summer. And I had to go back and look at this woman that I used to work with, this daycare owner, right there in New York. A child come dressing like if it's summer in the wintertime, she's going to say something to the parent. She's going to have something to say. She don't always call it. She addressed it. When you come into her daycare, you have to be up to par. How could you have a child in your care? Oh, I don't care about her appearance. I don't care for hair comb. I don't care for brush or teeth is brush. I don't care for her body smell. All of that they look at in elementary school. I work in an elementary school. I did behavioral intervention for a year or two. All of that, the social workers and the counselors watch at.
Yeah.
So why is the daycare not liable for that?
Yeah,
you just want to take the money. You're just there for the money, and you don't care about the child. Unbelievable. But I am going to keep talking out about this. I'm going to keep talking out about this, because you have to get a proper structure in which you take a child. You take the wrong person child.
Definitely. And I'd like to have you back on again, because we're
before we cut off, I want to read Jeremiah 20:11.
Okay.
You see, all those people who come together and lie to defame my character and to lie in this case because of the job, they said in Jeremiah 20:11, but the Lord is with me as a mighty terrible one. Therefore, my prosecutors shall stumble and fall. They shall not prevail. So all of them who do evil, talk evil, that to hurt me and my child, mainly my child in this case, they shall greatly be ashamed, for they shall not prosper. For their everlasting confusion, they shall not prosper. Their everlasting confusion shall never be forgotten. And this podcast will never make Natalie Haskins forget the decision that she made, would never make Patricia Ware, Laura Brooks, the DFS people, all of them that involved in this case, near Morris Hospital, every single one of them. Because today, tomorrow, a year from now, 2 years from now, anything happened to my child, they're going to remember these podcasts. They're going to remember it.
And more will be coming.
Yeah, they're going to remember it. But we have to keep talking out. You know, we have to keep talking out.
How can people reach you if they have any questions, Marineka?
They can meet me on my Facebook.
Okay.
Yep.
And if they have any questions, they can come through my site, dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. So, Hey, don't jump off. Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these family courtrooms. I am your host, Marianne Petrie, author of Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough, and Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. Please join us again here with Marineka Bowman in the future and other exciting guests. Thank you so much, Marineka.
You're welcome, Marianne.